I have a friend that had 3 abortions before she came to Christ. It wrecked her when she came to Christ, what she had done. I have a physician friend who performed abortions. It wrecked him when he came to Christ to realize he had murdered a child in utero.
This is Ask Dr. E, where Dr. Michael Easley answers your biblical or theological question in 10 minutes or less. Today's question comes live from a high school senior Bible class. What you got?
So this is kind of a heavy question, but we've been discussing this in our class. When newborn babies die or they die in the womb, where do they end up? Because I know we all have a sin nature, but is there any mercy in that? I was just curious.
It's a powerful and important question. There's a great story in 2 Samuel chapter 12 that probably most people who've asked this question are familiar with. And you remember David's story. He sins with Bathsheba. She's pregnant. He orchestrates the murder of her husband, Uriah. He pulls her into his house and marries her. And as she's pregnant and gives birth to the son is sick and dies. And I believe there's 7 days where he is fasting and praying, and the child dies. And after the child dies, he gets up and he washes and he eats. And the servants are watching him going, he wouldn't eat or wash during the child's illness. Why now? And this is what the account says. He said, while the child was still alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who knows? The Lord may be gracious to me that the child may live. But now he has died. Why should I fast? Can I bring him back again? And then here's the interesting phrase. I will go to him, but he will not return to me. I will go to him, but he will not return to me. One of the problems we have, we don't understand the ancients and their faith. I think Abraham and David and Solomon fully understood the resurrection. They fully understood an afterlife. They understood that when they died as believers, they were going to go to heaven to be with Christ and the saints before them. So when David says, I'm going to go to him, I'll see him one day, we might paraphrase. He's not going to come back, but I'll see him one day. So as a pastor, basically for over 40 years, I've been at stillborn hospitals, aborted, women have abortions, have come and talked to us, the whole history, a child that dies in an accident, and that's the passage that I will read and talk to them about. And back exactly to your question, we throw ourselves on the mercy of God. Depending on your theological framework, if you're a real hard 5-point Calvinist and you believe in double predestination, it can get kind of intelligent and kind of clinical, and that's a fine discussion. But when it comes to an infant who is born, stillborn, dies in utero, trisomy 18, complications, pregnancy, dies in delivery, I love this passage. And I have to throw myself on the mercy of God that he would not torture a mother or parents or a woman that wasn't a Christian and had abortions. And we both know women. I have a friend that had 3 abortions before she came to Christ. It wrecked her when she came to Christ, what she had done. I have a physician friend who performed abortions. It wrecked him when he came to Christ to realize he had murdered a child in utero. These are, I hope you never have to go through that. But that's the passage I go to and throw myself on God's mercy and say, they had to be elect. They had to be elect. So I choose to believe all aborted children are elect. I don't have a verse, I don't have a chapter, but I just throw myself on God's mercy.
And if David, this is the word of God. It's infallible, it's inspired. And so if David was recorded believing,
I'll go to him.
My 7-day-old son is with the Lord, and I'll be with him someday. Yep. I think that's a good place we can.
Heavy stuff.
I know. I worked really hard not to cry in front of you guys while we were listening. I always cry when we talk about this topic.
Well, we've had friends in recent times that have lost children, and there's nothing more. It's the worst. You're not supposed to bury a child. Some of you might have lost a sibling. You're not supposed to bury a sibling. You're supposed to bury your old parents. Your grandparents, but not someone younger. And it's hard stuff. This earth is not home.
Yeah. Is that the best we can end on to be hopeful? Is there anything more hopeful we can say?
Again, he's a merciful God. He's a merciful God, and he knows, and he knows.
He's a good father.
I will go to him.
Kindness.
I will go to him.
Yeah. All right. If you've got a question for Dr. E, call us, text us, email us. Ask Dr. E is produced by me, Hannah Seymour, mixed and mastered by Sonomorphic, and music composed by Jason Germain.